Well, how do? Welcome back to Edgar TV. We cover everything here on Edgar TV. We like to talk about things, give some analysis. And as you can imagine, my inbox has been flooded. I went on live yesterday on YouTube, as I do 6 o'clock every day before the World Championships. I also went live on TikTok yesterday, and every single question, every single person just wanted to talk about the Cameron Menzies incident. And I said I'm going to direct them to this video. This video is where I'm going to talk about it in a little bit more detail after the dust has settled and after we've time to cover things. Now, I thought about this, and this one's tricky. It's easy to do a video about someone swearing or someone having an argument, but this was quite hard because this was sort of like an individual situation. And I thought, how can I cover this with the class and grace that it needs, but at the same time, analysing this in a professional sense? And well, the first thing I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to do no overlays or photos. So if this video is a little bit long and boring for you, I do apologise. It's literally just going to be me talking to you. So I'm not going to be using any photos or footage or anything from the incident. I'm just going to talk about it and describe it to the best of my knowledge. Now, the other thing that we need to consider here is there's been a couple of statements made. We'll have a look through those and we'll look at what we think is going to happen next. And I thought, do I even do this? Like, is this something I can do? And I thought, no, actually, there's a lot of people that are subscribed here to Edgar TV that come here for professional analysis and to the point sort of factors. And I thought I can cover this better than the 16-year-old that's just slagging Cameron Menzies off in his bedroom, just trying to score some points. So I think there's a lot to go over here, so strap yourselves in for the next 5 or so minutes. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the statement that's been made here by the PDC. This is from Matt Porter, the CEO, who has said he spoke with Cameron and his management before he left the venue, and he knows there is support available from the PDC and the PDPA. So this is a double win. So in these sort of situations, you'd normally assume this is the role of the PDPA, the Professional Dart Players Association, for which the players pay into on a tournamentally basis. So they pay a fee up front and then 2% of prize money. And this is for all things to support them with financial advice, health advice, basically everything that we would imagine that would be going on right now. PDC also putting their hat in to offer some support as well. The bottom bit there, though, any nature of this incident is reported to the DRA, the Darts Regulation Authority, which is basically the people that fine you. They are the rule makers and enforcers for review, but our main priority is the players' health and well-being. Absolutely so. Really well put there by Matt Porter. And we will come back to the DRA incident in a moment, because I'm sure that's what a lot of you want to know. What's my opinion on what's going to happen next? We can also see a statement here from Cameron Menzies. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but it goes on here to talk about how he's not excusing his actions, but wants to let people aware of the situation in regards to the passing of his uncle and how the second round stage would have been on the same date as the funeral. Now, you can read that at your own leisure or pause it, whatever you want to do. Now, I thought about this, and I actually feel a little bit sorry, shall we say here, a little bit for Cameron Menzies. When you think about the year he's had, there's 3 major things that happened here. Now, they may not sound like on the surface. So we know he's gone through a relationship breakdown. I mean, we've all probably been through relationship breakdowns. How many times do we do something crazy? Someone's gone and slept with a neighbour, they've gone on a bender, they've gambled loads of the money away, they've done ridiculously silly things on top of these things. When all them emotions are high, he's gone through a bereavement, and then he's gone through losing the opening round of the World Championship, which out of all of them might sound the smallest thing, but he's sacrificed his life for darts. So quite a lot of big things going on all the time here for Cameron, so you can kind of understand where that sort of frustration boils in. I mean, lightheartedly, don't you wish you knew the guy who made the table? Because the table didn't flint. Like, it's still fully intact, fantastic. But the thing about that table was the dart, wasn't it? That's where I think the issue is here. He's come under the table, hit under the table, he's hit down his hand, and that dart's probably metal. So that's what split the hand, and we could see the graphic scenes as he sort of left the stage. Not only that, we also saw some fan footage of him putting his hand into the pyro beforehand, so we could see this was just a complete overboil of those emotions. Now, what do I think's going to happen off the back of this. This is the interesting part. Now, there's no comparison. There's nothing like this. Now, when we look at other situations, this guy swore on stage, it's easy because we've got broadcasting rules and regulations, watersheds. There has to be something that happens with that. And we've got previous where we go, this person's been fined this, it's likely to be that. The only other situation like this was in 2011 when Colin Lloyd punched the dartboard. Now, this I don't feel is a comparable. This isn't comparable because Colin Lloyd punched the dartboard, which is the playing equipment, in a live active game during the match as his opponent walked to the hockey. So it actually affected the moment, affected the play. The board's microphoned up, which, so there's lots of different things that make this situation different. And the fine then was £1,000. Now we know since then, 2011, 14 years ago, prize money's gone through the roof, exposure, media, everything's gone through the roof. So using that as a base and using inflation alongside that, I would estimate that there's a potential fine here of around £2,500. Not only that, I've seen a lot of outrageous claims. Should be banned for life, should be banned, should be taking his tour card off him. I don't think that's going to be the case at all. I've also seen the flip side of that argument. People going, yeah, but how many times does a snooker player smack the thing or a tennis player rack the thing? I think this needs to come out of sport, to be honest, absolutely. So I do agree in that sense. But I do think there potentially could be a ban here, but it will be suspended. So what that basically means is, let's say there's a 6-month ban suspended, means if anything happens within those 6 months, that ban will then kick in. So I think that could be what we see here in regards to the overall outcome of what happens with this. But it's just never been seen before within darts, which makes it a very tricky one to sort of to analyse. But what I will do, guys, is I will have a little call out here and say, and I'm sure none of you guys are doing this because we've got a great community here, but don't message Cameron. Like, that's just silly. Like, does that help the situation in any way? No. Like, when we look at where you can discuss, we can discuss it here. You can discuss it on your groups, your forums, discuss it amongst yourselves, discuss it wherever you want. But you don't need to tag Cameron in it. You certainly don't need to go and message him privately. Like, I don't see what that helps. I don't see what that does. I don't see the benefit of doing that. Yes, what he did was out of order and didn't show class and decorum in the situation, but that doesn't open the door for us all now to not show any class. So we can show our class in this situation, we can talk about it, we can analyse it, we can guess what's going to happen next, we can show our displeasure, but we don't need to involve Cameron in regards to that situation. So overall, analysing this, what I think is going to happen, I do think there's going to be a fine. We can pretty much see that from that statement from Matt Porter saying it has gone to the DRA. It's now in their hands, and I do think there's going to be some form of suspended ban. That would be what I think is going to happen here. Do feel free to go to the comments section, have your say, show your displeasure, show your support, whatever it is you want to do it here. Just don't message Cameron. That's the bit I don't agree with, guys. But yeah, catch you soon. Some more Edgar TV. Do you think I've got this right? Or do you think it's going to be a little bit harsher?